Okay, thank you very much. Welcome to the May 2026 Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee meeting. Meetings of committees of council underneath Section 5.8 of the Local Government Act 1995 are subject in part to the City of Wanneroo Standing Orders Local Law 2021. For the avoidance of doubt and in accordance with Clause 9.6 of the Standing Orders, a committee's presiding person may determine that a committee will be conducted in full compliance with standing orders, including those sections which are not explicitly stated to apply to committee meetings. This meeting determination is to be effected by a declaration by myself at the opening of the meeting. As a presiding member of AREC, in accordance with 9.6 of the standing orders, I declare provisions will apply to the thing. I now declare the meeting open at 6:01 p.m. Okay, good evening, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting today is being held on the Whadjuk Noongar Budja, and I'd like to acknowledge and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. I thank all past and present members of the community that have supported the city to better understand and value Noongar culture within the city of Wanneroo. Please note that the AV proceedings of the night will be live broadcast online with the exception of matters behind closed doors, and the broadcast of the proceedings of the meetings can be accessed live and on demand through that highly publicised City of Wanneroo YouTube channel. Okay, thank you very much. I have attendances as per the record in there. So have we? Okay, we have Mayor Aitken, Deputy Mayor Miles. No Councillor Figg. He may be online. We don't know yet. Councillor Rowe is here. Yes, Councillor Safe. We have Councillor Bronwyn-Smith with nothing. Okay, she'll be late. Okay. Okay, on her way, Councillor Wright, who's on leave of absence, and myself and Ms Zulsdorf. Okay, thank you very much. Prior approval has been given by Mayor Aitken for Councillor Figg to be admitted to the meeting, electronically admitted to the meeting in accordance with the details signed in his 18 May 2026 meeting. Okay, will he declare his... when he does? When he joins. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'll get him to do it. Councillor Jordan Wright has leave of absence from the 11th of May to the 10th of June in there. We also have that the minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting held on the 30th of March 2026 please be confirmed. Can I please have someone to move that the meeting's minutes be referred? Councillor Rowe seconded. Ms Zulsdorf, can people please cast their votes? Right. Okay, at the moment the minutes have been carried 6-0 and we shall move on. Okay, declarations of interest, including the extent of the interest that are made, commencement of the item to which the meeting results. So please bear that in mind. Ms Zulsdorf.
For item, give me a hand, Philip. Where are we?
Oh, the one reserved.
5.3. I don't believe it's an actual conflict of interest, but for transparency, one of the names is presiding member at a committee that I'm on, and one of the other people is presiding member of another committee that I'm on, and I was on an audit and risk committee with him at RSPCA. Given that it's in the confidential section, do I refer to the names?
Hey? Just do it before the items, and likewise I have a partiality interest in the fact that one of the names is my deputy at two other local government authorities, but I don't think I've got any interest. We'll deal with that at the time being. Thank you. Okay, declaration forms. Okay, the first item is the consideration of the provision of the statutory services and the audit planning report, which is effectively our external meeting review. We have Panitha Peramal from the Auditor General's Office and John Ward from KPMG. If you'd like to address the meeting, that will be appreciated.
Thank you, Chair. As a way of introduction, my name is Punita Perumal. I'm the Director at the Office of the Auditor General. This year, I've taken back a City of Wanneroo within my portfolio as the engagement leader. As those who are not familiar with this arrangement, City of Wanneroo is audited by OAG. And the arrangement is we have appointed KPMG to conduct the audit on our behalf. This arrangement hasn't changed in the past year. So we have circulated our audit plan, and we take this opportunity to present this audit plan to the committee in regards of the upcoming financial year, 30th of June, 2026. We will take questions as and when anybody has any. However, we would take generally the document as read, and we will only touch on important areas that we would think the members and attendees would believe of interest. With that, I also would like to introduce John Ward from KPMG, who is the partner from KPMG who's doing the audit on our behalf. So to you, John, to present the audit plan.
Through the presiding member. So if I ask you to go to page 8 of your documents, please, titled Key Changes. So the first thing just to highlight is a couple of changes that we've reflected on as part of preparing the audit plan. So firstly, there has been a substantial change in finance personnel with people entering different roles and a number of people in acting roles. So from our perspective, we do consider the potential impact that has on a control environment, the continuity and the knowledge and the oversight during this transition period. So we are alert to that as we undertake our not only our planning and controls testing, but our year-end testing. The second matter there is infrastructure assets are due for revaluation in the current year. The city will engage a valuation specialist, but again, each time there is a valuation process, that is an area which we will focus on. If I take you through to page 9 in your packs, that flows nicely in that you will see we've flagged a change in risk year on year for infrastructure assets, just noting that given you are in a valuation year, there are estimates, there are assumptions made in doing that valuation that creates a higher level of risk that gets appropriate consideration from my team. The other risks remain consistent year on year. So again, property, plant and equipment, it is a sizable balance. It is carried at fair value. We're always considering those items that may no longer exist, be damaged, the significant capital works program or any capital works programs that you've ceased, to make sure that property, plant and equipment exists and is valued appropriately. Revenue recognition, obviously very important. It's how you fund the activities. So again, that you'll recall is no change year on year in our approach. The focus is on the rates, the number of rateable properties in the city, the rates increase that has been approved at council, to develop an expectation around the value of rates revenue. And then with other revenue sources such as fees and charges or government grants, we undertake our testing on those on a sample basis. Employee costs, provisions and procurement is the flip side of the revenue. So that encompasses the vast majority of council's expenditure year on year. So our focus there obviously is not only on the completeness to ensure that all amounts that should be recorded in the year are recorded, it is also focused on the accuracy and the existence of those amounts, which we do through primarily sample testing. Cash and term deposits, again, that's focused. We do our bank confirmations, we check term deposit classifications, we ensure they're recorded and disclosed appropriately. The final one, just to draw out, the old favourite, management override of controls. It is the one item that under the auditing standards has a presumed risk of fraud on the basis that management are in a position that should they choose to, they could perpetrate fraudulent activity. Focus there, really, we're always looking at estimates, ensuring those estimates are appropriately supported. We also undertake our journal entry testing. You've heard me talk about it before. Our testing gets the entire journal entry population of the city for the year, and we apply a number of high-risk criteria over that. That includes looking at specific people who are posting journals, looking at unusual account combinations, such as journals going directly to cash, whereas they should go through a procurement process. We're also looking at, I guess, accounts that do not have a large number of items. So accounts where someone may post a number to that account because it doesn't get the same level of visibility as a commonly used account. So that really has talked you through the process at a high level on each of the identified risks. The only other thing I would draw your attention to is page 17 of your pack. So again, we've worked with management to establish our timetable to ensure that we can continue to meet the required timely delivery of the annual financial report to enable you as council to, the audit committee to recommend to council and then take it to an AGM in a timely manner. That really draws to a close the key things I wanted to touch on. Just for those of you who are interested, slide 26, the Office of the Auditor General does release on an annual basis a number of reports around local government, both financial audit results and information systems. They are excellent papers, they are a good read, and they do give you a really good snapshot of or a summary of the activity that the Auditor General has taken across all councils in a particular period.
Thank you, Mr Ward. Are there questions of the external auditors? Mrs Alsdorf, I'll try not to.
Thank you. Nice to see you again, Benita. Our paths cross a little bit these days. So I have a couple of questions. My first one, I think, is for OAG. And as we know, you're operating on a cost recovery basis, and that's a government decision. I'm assuming that in the year where you're doing valuations or reviewing the methodology for valuations, that there will be a greater cost incurred, and I understand that you're looking at some expertise to assist with that. So my question is, one, will there be extra costs, but more in the next year? So information I've been provided from different representatives from OAG is that you do CPI increments on the fees of the previous year. So if you have that valuation year with higher fees, does that get incorporated into the basis for the fees for the next year? Because yes, thank you.
To the chair, when we obtain quotations from the contractor firms that we invite to tender as part of the process, these valuations are normally publicly available timelines we could see from the financial statements. Typically, when they quote to us in their hours, they normally include those. However, in recent times, the hours that they've quoted or typically quote is when everything goes stock standard, smooth. It's what we expect that should take to be audited. In recent times, there's a lot of issues that come across that we can't see it as we're providing you an indicative audit fee until the actual work is completed through the communications with the valuers or the valuer report is not up to quality. So to answer your question, we have quoted in there a reasonable amount that we expect to be for valuation. Anything exceeding that, we would seek to recover.
Thank you. I probably expressed my question badly because you recoup the costs. We get an audit fee charged to us, and my understanding is that you get increments each year. So you don't go backwards because there are greater costs incurred when you do it in a valuation year than a non-valuation year. So if that's your base cost and you then go to a year where you're not doing valuations and you're putting CPI on top, you're getting this accelerated increment every 5th year when you're doing valuations, is my understanding, but I may be incorrect.
In a year where there's valuation, the CPI increase is standard on a baseline audit fee. And when there's additional valuation and the following year where we don't expect any valuation, the hours to complete the audit will be less. It'll be back to the baseline with a CPI increase, typically, when it's a standard audit year.
Thank you for explaining that in a way I could understand. Thank you. I'm sorry if I missed it the first time. My second question was OAG, one of the forums that was held by OAG for Audit and Risk Committee members was around valuations and asset registers, etc. And so there's because there's issues around replacement of assets and depreciation, etc. So, and they're saying, but you need to be linking across to your engineering department, etc., and having a better understanding of what those assets are, what the replacement times are, etc. Is that something that you're looking at and looking at that kind of integration across the organisation? Thank you.
Typically, yes, because from the financial statement point of view, when we audit that, we look at additions, disposals. When something is being constructed, we look at certain reports. And the financial team at local government management, they're quite reliant on the infrastructure team that feeds the information. And when 30th of June is the cutoff for the financial statement, seems like the communication between those two areas is not as timely as it should be. So as part of our test, typically we do like a cutoff test of making sure what's supposed to be there should be there and what's not supposed to be included is excluded. So it's a review that it's typically done regardless whether it's valuation year or not. Yeah.
Thank you, that's good to know.
Councillor Rowe.
Thank you, Chair. My question relates to slide or page number 5, which is titled Key Changes. The report notes, in terms of changes to the finance team, that the Director of Corporate Strategy and Performance, Chief Financial Officer and Coordinator Financial and Strategic Accounting have departed the organisation, all of whom in the last 6 months. Did management provide any assurances or strategies as to how they plan to manage the risk with the departure of those 3 senior individuals from the organisation, as it's noted throughout the sector that resourcing constraints and loss of corporate personnel can impact the capacity to deliver financial audits?
Through the chair, Councillor Rowe, in our initial conversations with the current acting management team for finance, I will say I'm comfortable that I've seen a wealth of knowledge and an indication that they are currently in the roles with the goal to ensure that they are delivering to our required timetable. So what I guess is important in how our audit operates is we are engaged early. There is a clear list of requirements that we have for the audit that we give well in advance. And the benefit of our system is nowadays that those requests year on year are similar, but our system allows you to go back and look at the prior year and see what was provided to enable it to be easier for people looking at it for the first time, what we are seeking. So at this point in time, I don't have any concerns that the timetable as set out won't be met.
Supplementary question, Chair. If at any point in time in undertaking the work you do have a degree of concern, can I ask you to step us through the process of how you would bring that to the committee's attention?
Through the chair, so obviously the first thing we always do is work with management to resolve those matters. Where those matters cannot be resolved and we believe the CEO is in a position to assist, we can take it through the CEO or to the chair of the Audit and Risk Committee. Our approach really is to not let matters sit. It's important that on a tight timetable we need to be dealing with them in a timely manner. What's safe to say with Tiana is we will work in a way that our system shows where things are outstanding. So our team has regular meetings to ensure that everything's been delivered and then escalates accordingly.
Okay, my turn. Two questions for the Auditor General and one for the officers. Are there any unresolved audit findings from last year?
Chair, at this stage, we haven't even started the interim audit. So from prior year, we would say until we go and test, it's still unresolved.
Okay. And I had a look at the paper that KPMG provided. What work on our information systems is being done around our financial statements? I had a read through the summary in there, and I'll make allowance for my blindness and my guide dog not being as effective as it could be. Could you step us through that, please?
Thank you, Chair. So yes, as part of the audit, we do undertake what we'll call our standard information systems testing. So it's access to programs, it's super users, any changes in programs that have occurred during the year as they are relevant to the financial statement systems or the supporting systems.
And final one is what about any work, reliance on any work done by our internal audit team, either by in-house officers or external providers?
Through the chair, we'll always read and review those internal audit findings and consider where matters relevant to our audit are raised, that we are encompassing them in our work program.
Yeah. And one for the officers. Given the fact that there's been a lot of talk about particularly work in progress, property, plant equipment, depreciation, valuations, particularly infrastructure and the like anyway, and I know that the Auditor General has actually raised this in a AREC Chair's forum about the lack of understanding for the notes that are being supporting the accounts, particularly in those areas I've mentioned. I was wondering, again, for the officers in there, is it possible so that a Reader's Digest summary of, say, some of the notes to the accounts, particularly the accounting policies and what they mean in the city's context, could be presented so that when the council signs off on the statements prior to their submission to audit, that they can actually have a better and detailed understanding. This has, for the benefit of your information, City of Swan actually presented that this evening as part of their brief, and it was a very good summary, so thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think we'll take that as a request, not necessarily as a question.
Yeah.
And if you could please put me in contact with your contacts at the City of Swan.
I think you might know him.
I might know him. We might have that conversation just to see what they've produced, to see whether that's a good fit here at City.
Yeah. Just as I said, it's to really help the elected members so that you've got a really good understanding. I mean, so I'll apologise for the accounting profession up front. We've got 4 pages of statements and 97 pages of notes. Now go figure. Are there any more questions, Councillor? Ms. Zollstorff.
Thank you. And one for administration. It was just around, do we believe that we're audit ready or we're going to meet those timeframes?
Ms. Harrison.
Thank you, Chair, and through yourself. Yes, I'm very confident in the team. I know that the Acting Chief Financial Officer has been working very hard with the team to make sure they're ready for this.
Thank you. Councillor Miles.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. My question to the OAG or to Mr Wood, under the valuation processes, do you have a look at, say, a valuation that we may have to accept about an asset that belongs to the regional council? So if we're not happy with that valuation, do you have a look at that valuation and say, no, that's nowhere near it should be? And I'm referring to a very large asset that the MRC has in Nirabup that we're a share of. So I know that has had a very high valuation, which I don't think is correct. But I'm just wondering how the OAG or our auditor will deal with that valuation if we don't think it's the correct valuation.
Through the chair. So when it comes to the regional councils, they are ordinarily audited separately by the OAG or by their nominated representative. So when picking up those numbers, we are, and we review the files to a certain extent as needed, we are reliant on the underlying auditors. I think, so not ordinarily, we wouldn't go away. If they've signed a clean audit opinion, we would take that as our primary basis in that number.
Yeah. Okay. Any further questions? Okay, if there's nothing, no further questions of our external auditors, can I thank Mr Ward and thank the representative from the Office of the Auditor General for us, and I hope that, I'm sure that the officers will make your stay here worthwhile, and we'll look forward to hearing your report. So we have a recommendation that the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee receives the audit plan for the year end 30th of June as per attachment 1. So can I have someone please move that? Councillor Safe and Ms Zollstorff, can you please cast your vote? Right, okay, we have 7 votes in favour, none against. I declare the motion carried. Right. Right, okay. All right, let's go with this then. Okay, thanks you very much. We now move on to the next item. I have a procedural motion to declare to defer items 4.2, 4.3, 4.4 and 5.5. So in accordance with the clause 7(1)(a) of the Standing Orders Local Law, items 4.2, 4.3, 4.4 and 5.4 be deferred to a workshop in June or July 26 to be attended by the consultant Jason Wilk, the Independent and Audit Risk Committee members, Ms Zolsorf, myself, the Audit and Risk Improvement Committee members and relevant members of the City Administration. The reason for the motion is that the proposed framework is not considered suitable for adoption by the City in its current form, as its complexity, excessive granularity, multi-tiered structure are likely to weaken rather than strengthen governance by diffusing accountability, limiting clear line of sight to the strategic community plan, increasing the administrative burden and reducing the City's ability to identify, oversee and respond to material and emerging risk in a clear, cohesive and operationally effective manner. Can I please have someone?
So before you call for a second, I just see if there's any questions
Yeah.
from anybody before we get the second, because otherwise you're going to have to go.
Okay, right, okay. Are there any questions? Questions, Councillor?
It's already been moved.
I've already moved in there. I'm just asking, is everybody question? Yeah, okay, yes.
So the question to the administration, just in accordance with the standing orders, there's a degree of satisfaction that now it's a procedural motion, a reason has been provided, and the procedural motion specifies the date onto which the item is to return. So from a procedural perspective, it meets the bill. Okay, good.
Okay, okay, there being no questions in there, can I please have a seconder? Ms Zollstorff? Is that correct? Right, please, if you wouldn't mind getting the voting software happening. Okay, the procedural motion is carried 7-0. So I guess these items, are they struck from the agenda or? Okay, okay. So we now go to 4.2, that's gone. And what do we do? Is this the enterprise? There's three that closing doors. I've gotten now really made this.
Just turn your microphone.
Okay. On the recommendation, then the next item that we considered is the amended Audit and Risk Committee terms of reference updated. So can I ask the officers if they would like to speak to the matter, please?
Thank you, Chair. Just to explain that the terms of reference have been updated in line with local government reform, the OAG's better practice and the global internal audit standards.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Ms Zulsdorf?
Thank you for referring to those other documents. But I did note that the better practice guide dates from 2020. It may appear with the number of regulatory changes, it would be very helpful to local governments if that was updated. So I do that. I have no issue with the terms of reference, just that would make things, life a bit easier, I suspect.
Any other questions? Quick one from me, given the deferral of the previous items in there, is there likely to be any changes forthcoming back to the terms of reference based on those items? Or, I mean, say, I guess the terms of reference can come back any time, but...
Through the chair, there's no change coming back through the terms of reference based on the deferred items.
Questions? Any other questions? They're not. We have before us a recommendation that we receive and accept the draft terms of committee reference with the track changes set out in attachment 3. And we recommend that the council endorse the updated terms of reference as set out in attachment 4. Can I please have someone to move that? Ms Zulstorf, seconded. Councillor Rowe, can we please vote? There being a vote 7-0, the item is passed unanimously. The next item is the OAG Local Government Management Gifts and Benefits City Review. Can I get the officers to speak to that, please?
Thank you, through you, Chair. Just to identify that there's no significant findings, but 7 improvement opportunities identified in the audit.
Thank you very much. And can I commend the officers for good practice in that regard? The Auditor General's reports, particularly those in local government, are very, very helpful. Thank you. Any questions on those, Ms Zulstorf?
If I could just follow on from your comment, that these things are coming out regularly, and I think they're designed for self-assessment, so it's really good when it's self-initiated. It's a good thing. And it's good that there are improvement opportunities, that there's nothing substantive, but you're looking for continuous improvement. So thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we have a motion before us. Is he flicking through the pages furiously? That the committee receives and accepts the internal review entitled OAG Management Gifts and Benefits City Review, provided by the city's internal audit team as detailed in attachment 1. Can I have someone so move it, please? Ms Zulstorf, can I have someone second, please? Councillor Safe. Right, okay. Can I please have your vote? The motion has been carried 7-0, so therefore it has been passed unanimously. We now move into section item 5, which is confidential items. We need to, I need to get a motion moved that we move behind closed door to consider the confidential session under the terms of Local Government Act 725, section 5.23 for items 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.5 and 5.6. So can I have someone please move that? Mayor Aitken, seconded Ms Zulstorf. Can I please get you to vote? We can move behind closed doors at 38 minutes past 6. Okay, so, okay. Okay.
So what you need to just turn that off. The resolutions.
Okay, the city, welcome back, everybody. Hope you've had a nice night watching Hard Quiz or whatever have you. While you've been watching Hard Quiz, the doors have been closed. We've had five resolutions passed passed in there. First of all, item 5.1, that we in actual fact refer the matter to option 2 in relation to Flynn Drive industrial relation. 7-0 was the vote. In relation to the internal audit report on information system and agenda technology management, the vote that was 7-0, that the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee receives and accepts the internal audit service provider's internal audit report system and technology report. Over the page, 5.3, the appointment of an independent deputy of the presiding member of the audit committee, and the committee it recommends to council that they appoint David Price to the position of deputy of the presiding member of the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee. In relation to the legal proceedings report on the 7-0 basis, the committee received and the legal updates provided in the legal proceedings report. In relation to the 3-year strategic internal audit plan on the 7-0 basis, the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee received and accepted the proposed 3-year strategic audit plan and recommends to the council that the said plan gets adopted. All were opposed in the nil. Okay. Item 6 we now move on to. Are there any late reports? There are no late reports, although I believe that a briefing note was sent about on some previous action items there. Okay, the next scheduled Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee meeting is scheduled for the 7th of September 2026, level 1, here in the council chamber in there. Okay, I will now declare the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee closed at 7:39 p.m. and thank you very much for your attendance and patience this evening. Thank you very, very much. Right.